Yes, love and greetings to everyone. I am Geezer Graham, and you've probably seen me already a couple of times on this channel. I first want to thank everyone who, over the past 2 weeks or so, did tune into some of the things that I talked about. And I especially want to thank those who took the time to post their comments. Right now, I want to tell you that whether positive or negative, all of your comments have been greatly appreciated. See? I also want to give thanks to IJStar for offering me the opportunity to share my thoughts with the viewers and subscribers on his Mindset platform. Enough love and respect, my brother. Now, after my last session, when I mentioned His Majesty, I could tell from a few of your comments that some ones and ones were thinking that this can't just done so. There has to be some more. And yes, you're right. In fact, IJStar wanted to immediately publish the next piece of the interview. But I'm changing mind when I tell him that for about 8 years, I worked on a weekly black magazine program on BBC Radio Leicester. And one of the things that I learned from that experience is that you mustn't always do what you plan for though. Sometimes it is good to let the audience run the show. In this situation, we found that after we put out the first part of the interview, straight away people started to respond to it. So for me, the natural thing to do is to put off the rest of the interview for now and instead engage with you, the viewers, and respond according to your comments. So I put that to IJStar, and together we decided that we will wait for a week or so to get some more comments before I'm on forward again. See? Some are there now. But before I get back to the subject of God and the King, I want to remind you that I did not come on the Mindset program to talk about the Emperor. Nor did I come to pick a fight with anybody or to take a one's God from a one. No, sir. If you look back on the video, you'll see that most of the interview now was about Coral Gardens and what the government do and never did do and all sort of something. Most of that interview was about Coral Gardens. So it's when now IJStar decided to move our conversation to the time when I traveled to England in 1966. Then I reflect, yeah, that's the same year that His Majesty forward to Jamaica, and I was there. So straight away, I just pulled back from England to Jamaica. I saw the thing start. And to tell you the truth, because that me love. When I just asked me a question, I have to smile because we can say, boy, this now going to get rough, because we know some people not going to like what I say. But I'm not going to refuse to answer the question. And I'm not going to lie or pretend. So I just have to go tell the man now, oh, I did see the thing. But I never did come to preach or to do nothing. It's just the man, the thing just run the way that's what it run. See? All right? Anyway, because of how this thing developed and the comments it has received, I now feel that there is something vitally important that I need to explain and do. So I'm going to ask you to walk beside me while I explain. And I feel sure that when you saw me, I say, you'll agree that this was indeed very important. Now, I said earlier that all comments were appreciated. And that's true. But really, the comments that I was most interested in were the negative comments. And I'm going to tell you why. In an interview that you might hear sometime later, I just started by asking me to introduce myself. And I respond to say, I don't really want to talk about myself. What I want to talk about is the sort of things that I think affect all of us as a people. That's what I want to talk about. And also at another time in a one-on-one conversation, I said to RASTAFARI, why, when you say I'm a computer genius, it kind of make me feel a bit uncomfortable. And I also said to him that you refer to me as an elder. And yes, I'm an elder. But although I'm an elder, I don't think that entitles me to any more respect than anybody else. Because after all, an elder can be stupid, And you can have a young person who have enough important things to say. So things that are said should be heard on the basis of what it is, not on the basis of how old the person is. So basically, I come to this thing with a certain mindset that this is not about me or anything like that. Just keep it on a level. But the negative comments have now made me realize that I came with the wrong attitude. And I give thanks for that awakening. See? You see, what these negative comments showed me, and something that I already knew, but I did not pay it any mind. And it's this. When somebody goes out there and makes a public statement, a statement that he would want the listener to consider, think about, talk about, then the listener doesn't actually see the message for what it is worth. No. What the listener sees, first of all, is the messenger. And if the listener considers the messenger to be someone who is qualified to talk about the subject, someone who is seen as credible, someone whose way of thinking is in line with the listener, then the listener will listen out to the message. But if the messenger doesn't fit what the listener expects from the messenger, then the listener just, sure, what is man I deal with? And he doesn't really listen to the message. He hears it, but he's not listening. And a good example of this is that one comment said, when I hear the brother say, nothing conscious at all. What? Hold on a minute. Then this brother hear me say that the Bible tell me that Jesus feed 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And I don't really know if it's true. I mean, I say it's not true, but I don't know. But what I do know is that I witness, I see it. So now something I hear about. I see Rasta, people who were seen as nobody, people who have nothing at all. They take nothing, put with nothing, and make something. And in a space of a few years, these people who were treated like dogs managed to feed the whole world, not just 5,000 people, the whole world with wisdom and knowledge. That to me is a real miracle. It happened. So the brother never hear anything conscious in that. When I was asked about the kind of madness that is going on in Montego Bay, if that have anything to do with the Coral Garden incident, I said, no, I don't think so. The only way I can relate what's going on now to Rasta is that the Rasta man today can sympathize or empathize with the man them, can feel what makes them behave the way them behave. It's like Pt2 say, you can't blame the youth. No. Again, the brother never hear nothing conscious in that. It seems obvious to me that when I said that I don't see Selassie as God Almighty, the brother just switch off. So, not me say now, is worth listening to. That was the mindset. You see. another comment that drew my attention is a brother said, just how uninformed and silly ones have to be to believe such nonsense to be true. Now, I have to say that I'm not sure what the brother meant. He could be saying that people have to be stupid to believe that Selassie is God Almighty. Perhaps that's what he's saying. But he could also be saying, hold on a minute, who this guy is? We don't know him. And come and tell about, say, Jamaican government send him on a scholarship to England. He might tell you, say, he must usher when Selassie come to Montego Bay. Rubbish. That could be what he's saying. So what I'm saying now is that the negative comments made me conscious that I had the wrong approach in the first place. And I give thanks for that awareness. I realize that the listener needs to know who is talking to them. It shapes how they see the message. So I'm not going to do what I didn't want to do in the first place, but I now see it as being essential. So I'm going to introduce myself. And I'm not just going to tell you that I'm this and I'm that. Because really, if I just tell you, then again, I could just be chatting. So I want to show you the receipts. Okay? So first, let me point out that my name is not really Giza Graham. No Jamaican parent in the late 1940s would give them son the name Giza. My official name is Godwin Graham. This is my Jamaican passport. It shows Godwin Graham from Trelawney. This is my UK passport, and it says the same thing, Godwin Graham from Trelawney. All right? Now, I think you can tell from what I said before about my initial approach to this thing that I am not someone who like to put myself out there. And so you will not find me on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm not on any sort of platform that presents a profile. But still, you can find things about me that other people have put on the internet. So let me see what we can find about Godwin Graham. So I went on the internet now to see what's there. And the first thing that I come across of interest is this website. Now, this is a French website, but you can make out what it says. On the staff, it mentions that in 1986, Magnificent Seven published a piece of software under the title Tournament Snooker. It was republished in 1987 by Codemasters Software under the title Pro Snooker Simulator. Further down it says, the copyright belongs to Hard Software. Well, that was my company. So what am I telling you now is that my software wasn't soft. My software hard. See? All right. And it then says the programmer is Godwin Graham, alias the Geezer. All right? So now you know, I'm a computer programmer. I just saw in his introduction, it says I'm a computer genius. But this shows that I'm a computer programmer. That doesn't mean I'm a genius. And by the way, in those times, at the dawn of home computing, software was distributed not on discs, but on cassette tape. So this is the cassette that Codemasters produced. This was the inlay. And you can see it says, by Godwin Graham, BSc. And they could have put in brackets, honors, because I hold an honors degree in computer science. But that's still not some is a genius. So I'm going to show you now. This now is another website. and it is reviewing Pro Snooker Simulator. They call it Professional Snooker Simulator, but it's the same program. And it says, the advent of a new snooker game is hardly a rarity. So it was with little more than a yawn that I dutifully loaded up Codemaster's latest addition to the genre, entitled Professional Snooker Simulator. In other words, what he's saying is that by this time, a snooker game is nothing new. They have 2 or 3 or perhaps even 4 out there. But because it's his job, if he has a duty to review it, so I'm just going to do it out of sense of duty. I'm even a bit fed up with it. I'm just going to do it. But then he says, but it just shows how wrong you can be, because Professional Snooker Simulator is quite frankly superb. In other words, it's something that he never expected to see. He says, by clever use of the Amstrad's higher resolution 4-color mode, programmer Godwin Graham has been able to give us perfectly round balls rolling smoothly over the green baize. The 4 colors used by the program are green, red, black, and white. And with these, all 8 different colored balls are clearly discernible. You see, snooker needs 8 colors. The Amstrad computer only can deal with 4, but I made it show 8. So this is just one example of why people in that time would see me as a computer genius. After the program was published, Codemasters called me to a meeting and they asked me, what do I want to do in their company? He said, anything that I want to do, just tell them. But I'm going to tell you now what I wanted to do. I know that if somebody wants to be a doctor, they have to have certain academic qualifications. You want to be an engineer, all them kind of things. You need academic qualifications behind you. But computer programming, all it requires is common sense and imagination. And I know that our people full up of that. We have enough of that. We kill the rest of the world with that. So what I wanted to do was to go into the ghetto and teach the youth them what I know. That's what I wanted to do. So I left the computing industry and went and set up a computer training center. This is Clive Lloyd, the former West Indian cricket captain, visiting the center. Pure black people. I just said that I was involved with the community. Well, yes, I was involved with the radio program, the computer training, Leicester African Caribbean Business Association. I initiated that. I was, I'm not about to tell you more. Enough about my community involvement. Okay. I just mentioned that I'm a musician. I'll show you later the receipts for that one. But the thing I really want to show you, and this is what now we're going to be talking about, I think, for days and years to come. In 2004, I made a documentary, a film documentary. And that documentary was given a special showing at the first Reggae Film Festival in 2008. Now, the film was not about reggae music. It was in 2 parts. The first section looked at the collective experience of African people right across the globe. And it showed that although we are in the Caribbean, in the US, in Africa, wherever we are the same people. That's the first half of the film. The second half now looks to the future and points to a new consciousness that is expected to shape the future for the race. But why the film was given a special showing is because of the way it used reggae music. Because reggae is the kind of thing, where virtually anything you can talk about, there's a reggae tune that will talk about that. So during the film, right throughout the film, at different stages when certain points are being made, reggae music was used to beautify and underline the point. And so, for those reasons, it was given a special showing at the first Reggae Film Festival. The Honorable Lorna Golding, the wife of the then Prime Minister Bruce Golding, offered to present the film at the festival. So when we came to Jamaica, I came with her next brother. She invited us to lunch. So we spent an afternoon, most of an afternoon, with the lady. And I can tell you that this is a very conscious lady. Trust me. So I'm now going to show you the second half of that film. And after you've seen that second half, then we'll have enough things to talk about. All right?
With the minimum memory that I have,
Yes.
I know I once told that Haile Selassie is taken as the Lion of Africa.
Okay.
Huh?
So,
Now, and the reason is that because that man was really very brave. He never feared anybody else. He was a man who really worshipped the ancestors, that is, you can say God, whatever. But then he was a strong believer. He was a man of peace, the way they tell us. And that his people were never colonized by anybody. So throughout his reign, you see. And that much as they can remember also, the inauguration of AAU was done in Addis Ababa. This was to restore his grace and the great memory of Africa about his leadership. That's what I still believe in, even today.
So you were told this at school?
Yeah.
And you went to school here in Tanzania? Right.
Yeah.
October the 4th, 1935 will go down to history as the date when the demon of war once again raised his head in the world. For months past, Mussolini has been sending the flower of Italy's manhood to Africa. Even his own sons serving in the Italian Air Force, the wings of the Roman eagle ready to kill and to destroy. But although they are faced by a modern army equipped with all the modern engines of destruction, the warriors of Abyssinia are not afraid. Faced with invasion in the past, they fought for their country and their emperor. Now again they rally to his call. And who can tell? With these men knowing every inch of their barren mountainous country, with rocky cover from rifle fire and bombs, aiming always at surprising the enemy and cutting them to pieces, they may well hold their own against a modern army. So the Ethiopians go to meet the invader, wave upon wave of fanatical fighters. But who will be the victor, the dictator of dictators, or the king of kings?
In 1936, the war raged. Ethiopians with inferior weapons fought back the Italians. Mussolini, fearing defeat, went for annihilation. He authorized the use of ypirite liquid, a poisonous gas banned by international law. Aeroplanes sprayed on the population and the land, poisoning water, cattle, in order to extinguish all living things. In this way, the Italians captured large parts of Ethiopia. Against this, the Ethiopians had no mortal defense. Watching his people being annihilated, Haile Selassie left Ethiopia to present his case to the League of Nations, of which his country was a member. In April 1936, he came to Britain before going to Geneva, where, in June, His Majesty addressed 52 nations. He said international morality has broken down, and the life of a small nation could not be safe. The fascist ruthlessness that engulfed him might one day engulf them. God and history will remember your judgment. His appeal was in vain, but righteousness had to prevail. It took 5 years.
This is the Great Seal of the realm. Around in Amharic letters are the titles of imperial authority. Haile Selassie I, King of the kings of Ethiopia, elect of God, the Lion of Judah has conquered. It is the proof that the emperor, the seed of Solomon and of Sheba, has returned to take up his whole people in his hand.
Ethiopia's victory led the way and gave light to all the oppressed world then under European domination. Ethiopia alone stood up. Even during the 5 terror years, the people fought and never gave up hope. For Ethiopia stretches forth her hands unto God.
It is good that you are here to record this picture of me in my palace garden at Addis Ababa. People who see this throughout the world will realize that even in the 20th century, with faith, courage, and a just cause, David will still beat Goliath.
Europe paid the price for supporting fascism. The twin monster of Hitler and Mussolini came to destroy them, resulting in the Second European World War. All of Europe was decimated. Judgment too came down on Italy. Floods, earthquake came. The end came for the Pope and Mussolini.
Here is the world's news in pictures, and this is Pathé Gazette screening it. With the macabre scenes in Milan, where the bodies of Benito Mussolini, his fascist accomplices, and his mistress Clara Petacci were kicked and spat upon by a seething crowd. From Milan, Mussolini began the march on Rome, which lifted him to power. In the same city, his story ended in this frenzied crescendo of hate and degradation, his body hanging from the roof of a petrol station.
The fool says in his heart there is no God. The foolish say, the fool says in his heart there is no God. For the wise men reach out for the future ahead. And
Yes,
the firm
the school curriculum does depend from one country to another country, isn't it?
Okay, that's
So
true.
I cannot say whatever is being taught in Tanzania is the same in Uganda and in Kenya or somewhere else in Africa. You
Okay.
see?
Okay. But you would say that all over Tanzania, that was what was being
That
taught.
was one of the the topic which was taught in history subjects.
I'd like to tell you about part of the reason why I'm here. I am involved with an organization, a new organization that aims to give support from the West for Africa. Now, for a very long time, aid has been coming to Africa in all sorts of forms. But this aid seems to always be coming from whites. We're saying that there are so many wealthy black people in the West that now there should be a very visible, clear support for Africa by Africans abroad,
Themselves,
by Africans
from
themselves,
that angle.
from that angle.
Okay.
Right? We see this as important,
Fine.
not simply because there would be more aid,
No.
that would be good, but there is an issue of self-respect
Okay.
and pride,
Fine.
because if aid is always coming from whites,
Yes.
I think it leaves the African feeling like they are second class to whites. Whites are always handing out. We now need to be getting help from our own people. Can I ask what are your reactions
About this?
Yeah, to what I just
I
said.
appreciate.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Ah,
I would love to see it.
okay.
Yeah.
So that
Because
is
much as I know, some of the aides do come here with some detectives, as you see. And sometimes there are some conditions which, instead of helping people, it does damage people. You might be asked to do what, for example? Say, if you're talking on the side of this monetary assistance, many times when you get a grant or an aid, it has to have some conditions. In which case, if you go deep in those conditions, you might find out that it means something. It means that you have to lose something for this, you see? As a nation, is dangerous actually. Because today there are some leaders who are in the leadership system. They are aging. One day they will be out of the system. They want to take over their children or the grandsons or daughters later. But then these strings which are being signed today, it will be their difficulties in the long run, you see. If I see a black person from western side coming this way, to me is as if it is somebody coming back to his home, you see. No matter how big that aid will be or how small it will be, to me it will be as if it will be a really aid meant for his people, because he knows them or she knows them quite well than the whites. That's how I feel.
okay.
That's my comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
If you only you can really unite anyway. I do not know.
sorry?
Do you really are you really united over there? The blacks who are in West?
Not really.
Not really.
Not
Not
really.
very much also.
You see,
Let me tell you why I'm asking that.
yes.
Much as I know, some of the people, especially the lent one, they do go outside Africa. They do think that once you go to Western countries, you can get a better life than here. So they go over there with the intention of winning life on their own. You see? To me, as if they will look as if they are self-centered, because they've been sent to school by these poor people's taxes. They are now specialists of different types. Instead of come back to serve their people, they just move out of the nation as well, you see? And once they go over there, and if they win over this, whatever they are looking for, or rather if they get what they are looking for, many do not think of coming back so early to where they come from. They will come back maybe when they are older or whatever, you see? So you can see this also creates a gap in a way that we are forced to look for experts from outside unnecessarily. We might have a chance of using our own people right now in so many African countries, because I do believe that these people are really schooled. They have got talents already. They are skilled already. And they are experienced already. And they are good specialists. So to me, why do they not stay in their home countries? Why do they always rush outside the country? That's why I'm asking you, are you really united over there?
And I answered you, and I said, not really. However, we don't think it's difficult to do what we are trying to do.
Fine.
And we think it must be done, and it will be done.
Fine.
And what gives us that confidence is the fact that what I'm saying now, and what I said to you and what you said back to me, no human being can deny it. This is about building and rebuilding respect for yourself.
Fine.
And there's nobody who you can put that argument to who would say, no, that's rubbish. So, with that sort of strength of argument, even the ones who have been thinking, oh, I want to be up there, he's now got to stop and
they start thinking back.
So we're not saying that this is going to happen overnight.
No.
But
I
we
understand.
but we know that
It's the process actually.
right, and we know that we started something that must live.
Okay. I now understand what you're saying. And then where do you originate? You yourself, where do you originate? What is your
where was I born?
Yeah.
I was born in Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Good. You really make me feel something. Eh? If you are from Jamaica, you still remember the blacks. There are few people of your type, my dear. There are few people of your type.
But it's a growing number. It's a number that includes the rich and famous. For example, actor Danny Glover, who has starred in dozens of films including The Color Purple, Beloved, the Lethal Weapon series, etc., and who was recently arrested in Washington in connection with his stance on the situation in the Sudan. The number includes unrecognized individuals, such as Zadatu Ishwa, who is an assistant surgeon at a Birmingham hospital in the UK. On her first visit to Ethiopia in 1998, she witnessed the passing of a very dear colleague, Yiyanka Mawuli, who was also from Birmingham, and who died in hospital during childbirth. Since then, Zadatu has been supporting the Shashamane District Hospital with vitally needed medical equipment and supplies, plus other useful items such as computers, books, etc. In fact, the number of Africans in the West who are prepared to help in whatever way they can is indeed growing, and is perhaps far greater than is generally recognized or acknowledged. We hope that this number does, or will, include you.
Stand around this town and let what others say come true. We're just good for nothing, so them figure. Worthless, shiftless niggas. We can hardly stand for that. That's where it's really at. Well, pardon me, brother. As you stand in your glory, I hope you won't mind if I tell the whole story.
Well, we have seen and heard one Tanzanian express what was clearly a heartfelt desire to see seed for Africa take root and grow. But what do others in Africa think? Today, we are at the family home of Margaret Marigo, who has invited a few friends round to talk about seed. Let us hear some of their comments.
Kusema kuna utamaduni ya Kiafrika ambayo ni msingi yenyewe. Sasa normal talks very hard. Kuna utamaduni sasa. He is trying to say that the Africans normally they were not people who like begging very much. They worked together and they were self-sustained. Now this thing seems to be disappearing. So what he is saying is that Sin for Africa is trying to remind the Africans that stand on your feet. That's how I get it. What Selassie is saying. We were never beggars. You can't be begging all the time from your neighbor. If you beg it 2 days, 3 days, you have to think, no, this season I have to have my own food. That's what he is saying. He normally talks in his own way.
Men of Africa, not only the idea, we have that idea of it's only white who help us, but it's true that it's not really they help us, but they get something more here than what they're coming for, because what they go back with is more important and more wealth than what they give. So they can come here for nothing, but once they go back, they are rich. So what we Africans see is that we are not poor at all. We have gold, diamond, different things. Another thing is that there are the other African, the color is black. You thought this is my brother, this is Africa. but mentality is not African, it's white. You see? So what you are trying to do is that to show those who are interested to help Africa joining together with you and then show Africa that they really have heart of helping Africa, instead of putting the idea these white people, they just come here to rob us. You see? So let us see from the black now what they come to do for us.
As you say, there are white people who have a genuine desire to help. And I got a very clear impression that Jennifer is one of those people. I'm wondering, as a white person in Africa, doing what you can, but now that the argument has been put to you, first, it's an argument that you actually have thought about or has been presented to you before, and now that the argument has been put, what are your personal views on it?
I agree with most of what we've been talking about here, and I think your purpose of Seed for Africa it's excellent and something that's needed, because it's true. Most people who come here to say, oh, I'm trying to help people develop or giving aid or whatever, they are white. I mean, it's true. And also what you said is true in the West these days. Although still in the US, a large majority of the poor are black. But there are a lot of middle class and very wealthy black people who can also contribute. But I think the problem is people's mentality and awareness. Poor education system that doesn't teach people about their roots is what prevents people from becoming involved. So I agree. I mean, I think it's a good idea. Also about foreign aid, I agree completely. A lot of the foreign aid that comes here is nothing compared to what the West profits from African countries. It's so unjust. And I even see it happening here in Tanzania all the time. For example, the US or Europe gives aid to Tanzania to say, okay, we're going to build these roads for you and what. But there are conditions. You have to buy your vehicles from our country. So, what kind of aid is that?
Could I just ask you one more thing? You said, perhaps I'm sort of picking on a small point, but I am very interested in the truth as any human being sees it. And you said that you agree with most of what was said. That the word most suggests that there might be one or two things that you did not necessarily agree with. I'm interested to know what those things might be.
Well, I just said that because I guess it's just the idea of that I don't want people to have the idea that all white people are bad. And I'm just trying to get something out of Africa, because I take myself for an example. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I didn't come here to make money or anything. In fact, I'm living a very simple life. Just that there are good people who are actually doing good things. But I understand the point that you're making, that all Africans are seeing our white people helping, and that they need to see black people helping as well. So that's, I got the point, and I agree with that.
In fact, everyone we have spoken with on this issue all seem to be singing from the same hymn book.
We just want to tell you that we are most welcome here in Tanzania. and just to feel at home. As you said, you originated from Africa, and you are thinking that after staying a long time out of Africa, it's high time now that you bring all the gains to your home continent. So we just want to tell you that we are together.
Earlier, we shared the experience of my chance meeting with this lady in Tanzania. Had I given you full details of all the circumstances that led to that meeting and to the meeting actually being recorded, I can well imagine that you would conclude that fate played a hand in this and that this was more than just a chance meeting. Well, a couple of days later, I had another unexpected meeting, this time with a Jamaican, Dr. Carida MacDonald, who had recently arrived in Africa for the first time to start a new job as program coordinator for the international charity organization UNICEF. I think I should mention that Dr. MacDonald is based in the capital Dar es Salaam, which is about 400 miles from Arusha, where I was visiting. In the few days while I was in the country, Dr. MacDonald happened to visit Arusha, and we happened to meet in an internet cafe. Another chance occurrence? Meet Dr. Carida MacDonald.
Just, they say nothing happened by coincidence, and so I feel it's just divine inspiration. What is to be is to be. But directly I work with UNICEF, 6 years now in Jamaica as a national officer. I deal with early childhood is my educational, sort of leaning. Went to school at Harvard University to make a point, because as a Rasta coming up, it's a struggle,
And what does she think about what Seed is saying?
Well, I feel it's true, even coming to Tanzania, to be honest, I expected to see more black people in control. And I'm in Dar, the capital, and all I have seen is Indian and Syrian and German, controlling all business, and situation. So to me, that alone was a kind of a little shock. I expected to see proud black people in charge of business. But in terms of the question on UNICEF, I think it's true. It's just like Christianity. Christianity come and it's the white people who are giving the black people the religion, and everyone is running to build up a church. I think it's so there's that side of it. As you say, it is a subconscious thing of if it is always so-called white people who are bringing the aid and bringing the help, then it becomes like it can be what is black people doing for black people, so I don't think it's it's supposed to be United Nation. But then United Nations is who, So I wish it could be, really United Nations, But it's just ones on ones like yourself and I to make a change and put in a come with a vision and try and push it through.
Well, Seed for Africa has got a vision, and with your help, we are ready to push it through.
It's greed and jealousy that's separating you and me in all this tribal war. It's sapping all our energy, yes. 'Cause I've got a plan and I'm sure that we can make it work. 'Cause unity is strength, solidarity is what it's worth.
We're going to start here in Tanzania at this 300-acre site in Tanga. Are you ready?
Oh, yes, we are. We're gonna make a celebration. Equality and just make a nation. No more fuss and fight. Equality and justice.
So now, what can you do to help? And why is it important that you do help? Well, first, doing something voluntary to improve the quality of life for others. That generates an uplifting feeling that is worth much more than whatever you might give. But in addition to that, for us people of the African race, there is a benefit that is perhaps of even greater importance. You see, one of the most obvious things about any human being is his or her racial identity. Given our history over the last 500 years or so, this racial identification takes on far greater significance for us than it does for other members of the human family. Let's face it, as long as there are people who see Africa and Africans as a hopeless, incompetent, and pitiful lot, then no matter what I may achieve personally, I remain tarred with that brush. If you need convincing on this, then ask the black millionaire players in British football. As individuals, we will never get, and should never expect to get, total and unreserved respect, while Africa and Africans are held in low esteem by others. And in any case, how can I expect others to respect me if I show no respect or regard for the race to which I belong? We now need to realize that it is in the interest of each and every one of us to rebuild Africa. Africa, the birthplace of the human race and the origin of civilization as we know it, needs to reclaim its dignity, and no one can do that for us. Even if others with true love and compassion did what they could to try to restore the dignity of our race, there would still be no real respect to be gained by us if all we did in the process was to stand by and watch. Our responsibility, therefore, is really simple and very easy to fulfill. Just join in our pact and, in so doing, enjoy the benefits that come from a shared sense of purpose. I think I will now leave with this question that was raised in the film. It's a question that keeps echoing in my mind.
Are you really united over there, the blacks who are in West?
How are we going to respond?
Cause if you come from Brixton, and if you come from Wilsden, say if you come from Harsden, and if you come from Bronx, yeah, if you come from Brooklyn, if you come from Miami, say if you come from Switzerland, and if you come from Germany, if you come from Russia, and if you come from China, if you come from Taiwan, say if you come from Pt2, if you come from the North Pole, if you come from the South Pole, say if you come from I don't know where.
Finally, before I go, I would like to properly acknowledge the various pieces of music and film footage used throughout this documentary. These have contributed so much to the spirit and the educational value of this film. And while you view the credits, bring the bling, so we can do something with it. Have no doubt about the good that will come out of it. The need for seed is real. We've all agreed on it. So it will grow. So I and all the world will come to know of it. Tell me this. Will you be true to life and see what you can do for it? Or does the fact you're black disturb you so you'll turn your back on it? My sister, my brother, don't bother to try to see the other side of it. There is none. So now the truth is calling. Please respond to it.
People who see this throughout the world will realize that
So there you have it. The film speaks for itself. You have heard the call. My name is Benjamin Zephaniah, and I am now going to tell you how you can make a real positive difference to people of African descent worldwide. We all know that there are individuals who make money from selling unauthorized DVDs at reduced prices. That's not our style. We wouldn't want to encourage such behavior. This film will be circulated in an ethical way, a righteous way. So you see, maximum respect is due. Here's the deal. You can engage with us in one or more of three ways. You can order a legitimate copy from an authorized source. Each copy will come with an A4 size certificate acknowledging your contribution. You can order the copy from our website at www.seed-for-africa.com, or you can send your order to Seed for Africa, 10 Harry Close, Leicester, LE4 1DU, and that's in the United Kingdom. You know that. Alternatively, or in addition, you can make a donation, or better still, regular donations. Checks should be made payable to Seed for Africa and sent to that same address, Seed for Africa, 10 Harry Close, Leicester, LE4 1DU, UK. You can also make payments directly into our account or by credit transfer. The account details are listed below. You will also receive a certificate of appreciation. So just send the money code. And finally, you can distribute the film to your friends and family and earn a commission for doing so. That way, you spread the message in your community and you earn a bit of cash for doing so. If you are interested in helping us distribute the film this way, you can contact us at the website at www.seed-for-africa.com. seed-for-africa.com. Thank you. Peace.
Better days are coming. I can feel it in the wind. We've been working and praying, and I know by God will win. Yeah, come on, people, get ready. Let's take this spiritual journey. We'll fight this battle, and with faith we'll overcome. We'll be heirs to God's kingdom.
Yeah, like Brother Benjamin Zephaniah said, the film speaks for itself. So I'm not going to say anything more at this time, all right? I hope I Just Star will invite me again to his platform, and that next time he might be able to have you, the viewers, join us on Zoom. For now, I just want to summarize what you've just heard and why. As I said earlier, my primary intention in accepting the invitation to come on this platform was for us to engage together in reasonable discussions about things that matter to us as a people. But I didn't want to just talk with ones who agree with me. No. So when I realized that some ones and ones were not engaging constructively, perhaps simply because them don't know nothing about me, I feel like I really have to show clearly that I'm not just a little half-idiot who come on YouTube to cause contention and to look likes. See? So I hope that the brother don't feel no way now because I pick on his comment. Just as I was happy to say that I had the wrong approach to begin with, I think it would be good if the I could do the same. Right? We can then really start to have meaningful dialogue as brothers and sisters. That's what's necessary. We need to face the fact that the whole world is in crisis. And as a people, our backs are against the wall, while the wicked have them knee in our neck. You know, see it? So this is no time to be arguing and fighting amongst one another. No. So by the way, I did say that I would show you the receipts that I'm a musician. I don't think that is necessary right now, but because I like to try and keep my word, I'm going to do that anyway. All right?
Aid for Africa. Seed for Africa.
Of course it is. Seed for Africa is a good thing.
Seed for Africa.
Well, I think it's good that you're taking action.
The Seed for Africa.
Seed for Africa.
Seed for Africa.
Well, the word out on the street is that it's positive, it's a good thing, and it's been a long time coming. We are at the birth of the launch of Seed for Africa. What does Seed for Africa mean? Well, Gisa Graham is in the studio with me. He's one of the founders, and he's here to explain what does Seed for Africa mean.
Self-empowerment and economic development for Africa.
Make my promise to everyone to share the sufferer. Woo, 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 it's time to go back to the way it was now. Forward ever, backward never.
No, we could never deal with a backwards.
Stick together
every time.
Last forever. The race is not for the swift, but
tired to
those endures. We've been tried and tested and know the
Steel Pulse Live, and now in the studio, the lead singer, David Hines. Greetings.
Yes, Brinsley. Do it
Bless.
again.
I believe David was one of the first patrons of Seed for Africa.
Not just one of the. Steel Pulse was the first patron.
Tell me how you heard about Seed for Africa and what Steel Pulse is doing to assist the organization.
Well, first of all, myself and Giza go way back, you know, as far as the early 70s, before Steel Pulse became an international name. And, you know, we were there exchanging ideas musically, you know, in our rehearsal space at the time. And then, you know, he suddenly relocated himself and lived in Leicester.
Now, I want to end by referring to a positive comment. Our sister said, I am sure there's a second part to this reasoning, so I will wait before I make my comment. Yeah, beautiful. That's the kind of spirit I need in this time. See? Yeah, man. People who want to think and reason. Yeah? I saw it for go. I now leave with more thanks to Ija Star and more love and blessings to all. Peace.